So I just wanted to cover a quick demonstration of the Advanced Matrix Controller module. I've devised a very simple XPanel here. This is the virtual view. All this is fed from this particular configuration file, which is loaded in NVRAM. So I'll just resize this for now. So I've got three presets, A, B, and C. I just pre-populated this with a lot of junk for the time being. This doesn't really make sense, but you'll see how it works as I use this. Normally you wouldn't set the same input to multiple outputs and then override that with a different input and then override it and so on, but I just needed something quickly built here. So there's the three presets. You can do whatever you want with these. The snapshots cache file and the outputs with their remapping, the names, and the control crosspoint ID remapping identifiers, as well as the input remapping and source names there. So the way this was programmed, it's a simple virtual source selection, choose a destination to send it to, and then I can clear everything if I wanted to. You can see the feedback too that comes from the busy signal here off that module. And so if we set preset A, you'll see how these things just scroll through, and then when it's finished then the busy thing goes away. It's because it's trying to set the input to the output and then override it 15 different times for 16 inputs. Yeah, you can see that there. So normally what I do with this module is I would set the busy signal for a trigger when it goes low, and if I'm using it for DM, then I use that pulse to trigger the video enter, rather than doing it off the change of these, because you don't know whether it's a preset where it needs to set multiple analogs and different things like that. So you want to make sure that you're waiting until the switcher is done being busy before you send the video enter. So I've got the presets here. Those will set these two, and presets C will set these ones. But it doesn't affect any of the other ones. It'll only set the ones that are relevant to the preset. You can reload the config file if you uploaded a new one. The snapshots, these are stored in memory. So if I set input 1 there, input 2 here, I can click and hold for this example for 3 seconds to save it in memory. I don't have any feedback, this was just a quick demonstration. So now if I clear it and I recall that, it'll recall that exact routing. And then if I wanted to transfer this to a different system, as I was explaining in the other video, so I'll just refresh, you can see there's nothing there. You can save this to disk, and then if I refresh again, you should see the cache file in there with the routing for the entire matrix. You can see it's got 0 all the way across the board. I don't have partial snapshots at this point in time, but that's something I might add in the future, because you may not want to affect the entire routing of the system same way as the way the preset functionality works. But you can read that from disk again. So if I was to clear this, save the cleared state to snapshot index 1, you can see that that's in there. If I hit 1, it'll clear everything. If I reload this file back from disk, it'll reload my input 1 to output 1 and input 2 to output 2 snapshot for these slots. Whatever has been saved, it'll load that back into memory. So now if I hit number 1, you can see it routes input 1 to there and input 2 to there. So this is a pretty handy module. The way I've programmed this doesn't do its justice for demonstrating the full capabilities of this module, because obviously I'm only using one matrix device, and so I can't demonstrate how the global actions trigger across multiple matrix modules. But in this case, I'm not using any of this stuff to recall the snapshots or the presets or clear the routing. I'm broadcasting that from the controller. But in this case, since there's only one matrix device symbol in the program, it would do the exact same thing as if you were to transfer the control of these signals over to these ones. So you can play around with different ways of programming this based on whatever your system functionality that you're aiming for requires. And it's a pretty powerful module. Thank you.